How many people will be watching us?
Um, Not sure. We have 760 subscribers, so
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
yeah, yeah. Obviously looking to get more.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. We're live. So, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Everything Geek podcast. I'm your host, Ruari, and joining me today is a very special guest. I'm joined by Matthew McCurdy, best known for playing Agent Wellers in Marvel's Daredevil, Detective Grimes in the Barre Douglas Hyland and Splinter Cell Extinction, Marc in Bushwick, Tom Walsh in Checkmate, Tuffley in Vendetta Games, High Priest in the Blacklight, Olivia's dad in Thorp, Texan Shooter in Zombie Pizza, Detective Obrien in Knockout Game, and Matt Whelan in For Her. Matthew's behind the scenes credits include the writer and producer on For Her. How are you today, Matthew?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
So get You're welcome. So getting right into my questions for you, Matthew. First of all, can you tell me how you got into acting and filmmaking?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did my first play in high school. I think I was a senior in high school, and I was always interested in doing acting. And I took an acting class in my first play. My first role was playing Santa Claus, and I did that, and I got the bug. And when I graduated, I decided to go to university, and I studied acting there. So that's how I got into it. And then when I graduated university, I moved to New York, and film was pretty big here, and I just started doing films and just fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's brilliant, fantastic stuff. Can you tell me how you were originally cast as Agent Wellers in Marvel's Daredevil?
Yeah, so my manager sent me an email about an audition. I didn't know what it was for. It also came with an NDA that I had to sign. Um, and I went and did the audition, and I did not know what it was still. Marvel is very protective with their content. And yeah, I had no idea what it was for when I went to audition for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's completely fair because obviously Marvel and Netflix, such huge corporations, so
Oh
much
yeah.
secrecy about everything.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you a fan of Marvel's Daredevil or the other Marvel Netflix shows prior to your
Oh,
casting?
absolutely. Yeah, we loved Daredevil, the first two, three seasons, I think. We watched every single one, and yeah, I've been a big fan of Marvel since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So so what were you told about the character of Agent Wellers when you were on set about to shoot your first scene?
My first scene was with the actor who played Agent Nadeem. I was told by the director that, just to be myself and bring what I brought from the audition and bring the character to life. And um, uh, Wellers was a confidant of Nadeem and was a good friend of his, and they wanted me to play that up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. And what was it like working with Nadeem's actor Jay Ali? You had quite a number
Oh,
of scenes with him.
yeah, he's a lovely man. We stayed in touch afterwards, and we had a wonderful time working together. He's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. What would you say are the similarities you see between yourself and Wellers, if any?
Yeah, there's a few. He's a hard worker and he wants to do good and be a good person. I know his turn is a little rough for him in this in Daredevil, but I think ultimately he just wants to do good, and I feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned, of course, you were a big fan of Marvel's Daredevil before the casting. So, what was your reaction like when you found out after the secrecy and all that it was Daredevil?
Well, my manager called me like 2 days later, and she was like, "You booked that role," and I was like, "Her name's Jen." I was like, "Jen, what is it?" And she was like, "It's Daredevil," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's crazy." I was through the moon. It was super exciting to get to work on that show that we loved and I loved, and to get to work be in the Marvel universe is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Were you given a lot of freedom coming up with the performance for Wellers, or did the Daredevil crew already have in their mind how they wanted him portrayed?
They gave me a lot of freedom in how to portray him. Obviously, the script is the script, and you have to follow the script. And they were writing the scripts as we were going. You know, they had like maybe the first two episodes written, and they were writing them as we were going and changing things as we were going. And obviously, you have to honor the scripts. But they gave me a lot of freedom to work and do my work. It was lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting to hear about the process of the scripts because obviously the Netflix shows were usually 13 episodes a season. So that's
Hmm.
interesting. They're still being written, still being tweaked and all that.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting because I mean, people that don't really know the world or how filmmaking goes might think that oh, they must have absolutely everything written and nailed down every little line, before something shoots. And no, quite often it's still being worked on.
They will change lines. I've been told even on Daredevil to like, oh, can you ad lib a line here for us? Or, they change things all the time. They make sure they fit the story, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. So, what was your process like in bringing Wellers to life?
I did a lot of research into being an FBI agent and what that's like and what they have to go through to become an FBI agent. And it's a very rigorous process. And then I created a little backstory for him, family man and all that stuff, and children and everything, and just tried to bring his life to the forefront of when I brought him to the screen. And you don't see all of that, obviously, and he doesn't get mentioned, but it definitely helps you solidify a character.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. It definitely helps you, view a character in a different way by like giving them your own backstory, making them the most important person in their own life. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. So what kind of direction were you given from the crew for playing Wellers?
Outside of there's a different director for each episode. So, certain directors will come up to you and give you a little quirk or say something to you to make you feel a certain way. Um, they really let me play as long as we served the story. Um, I was able to play, and all the directors I worked with were wonderful. They basically just told me to have fun, play with it, and just you know be Agent Weller.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Do you have like a favorite memory from your time working with the directors? Like, I mean, what were they like in particular? As you mentioned, there's so many on a show like
There's so
this.
many of them. Yeah, one of them hugged me after a scene, which was very nice. I don't remember her name, unfortunately. Um, but they were all wonderful. And it's interesting working with so many different ones because they all have their different styles in the way they work. Um, the girl that hugged me was nice after a scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant stuff. What was your experience like working on Daredevil and what was it like being part of Marvel?
Daredevil was a wonderful set to be on. I think it starts from the top down, from the showrunner Eric Olson to Charlie Cox, the lead. The first table read when, my first day was a table read, and Charlie Cox comes into the room and he says hello to every single person, and the people that he doesn't know, the new characters, where he walks up to them and shakes their hand and welcomes them to the cast. And so it creates a really warm environment, and it's a warm, creative environment. And it was a beautiful set to be on. I really enjoyed it. And working for Marvel, that's one of those things that you don't think is possible, and then it happens, and you're just kind of floored that you're even there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, along those lines, what did you enjoy the most about working on Daredevil as a whole?
I enjoyed my scene and my scene work and that stuff, but I'm the type who will, when other actors are working, I don't like to be in my dressing room unless I'm mandated to be there because they need to know where I'm at. I'll hang out in the corner someplace dark, and I like to watch how it all works. I like to watch the crew and how they work, anywhere from the director to the gaffer to the girl who's the continuity girl. She has a big thick folder and she makes sure that all the words are right and all the storyline is following through, and watching all the other actors work. And I just I just enjoyed being there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Like, I didn't actually know a bit. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews, and like you do hear about the underappreciated behind the scenes crew that you don't really know about. I had no idea there was like a continuity person there with so many sheets of paper, making sure
Oh yeah.
everything stays exactly as it should.
She makes sure, we called her the Countess of Continuity. And every little word, your lines had to be right. Yeah, she was on it. She was very impressive.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. So, which scene or scenes did you most enjoy filming for Daredevil?
Well, I enjoyed all of them, but the death scene was pretty fun one to do.
Yeah, on that note, how did you find out that Wellers was going to be killed off in the season 3 episode reunion?
Well, we did the table read for that episode, and he wasn't being killed there. But I think at some point they realized that he needs to have some sort of an arc, and they can't just leave that untied. And I was at home one night. I was about ready to crawl in bed, and my phone rang, and I saw that it was Eric Olson, the showrunner. And he called me, and he was like, "We really love you. We appreciate your work, but we just want to let you know we're killing you off tomorrow." Um, and so I was like, "Oh, thank you for letting me know. But thank you for having me." But it was a little bit of a bummer, but it was such a fun scene to do that, and it served the story, so which is the most important.
Yeah, absolutely for sure. And what was the filming of his death scene like?
Ask that again. Sorry.
What was the filming of his death scene like? Shooting that scene with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was, and I'd worked with Vincent a little bit on that show, and he's such a warm actor, and it just worked. We did a little bit of ad-libbing with it, and when he asked me for my jacket and he puts it over my head, that's when they say cut. And then I get out of the limo and they bring in the stunt man, and then who's wearing a big helmet, and then he beats him and does the whole thing. So um, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun shooting that scene.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And yeah, I mean, even a stunt man just for like staying still and getting beaten,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, the thing stuntmen have to do. When you said you had to get out of the car, I thought you were gonna say they put like a mannequin or something in your place and just let them beat up the mannequin.
No, it was a stuntman with a helmet on, and I think that it maybe even had some blood packs on it. So when he punched it, the blood came out and everything, and then he kind of dumps him down into the seat there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible just to get the behind the scenes on the filming of that scene. Yeah. And obviously Vincent D'Onofrio, brilliant performance in every
Oh,
scene.
yeah, absolutely. What a great actor he is.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And so what are your favorite memories from your time working on Daredevil overall?
It was just like I said, and I'll say this again, it was such a warm set and such a the creativeness and it amongst everybody, the crew and the actors and the collaboration of it all. Um, it was just warm and inviting, and I yeah, it was a fun place to be.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Do you have a favorite memory with any of the cast or crew in particular that stands out?
Well, the death scene with Vincent and us talking about it and hashing it out and how it would go was a lot of fun. Um, there's the scene where I had to handcuff Deborah Ann Wall, and us, and I couldn't get it done fast enough because I'd never worked with handcuffs like that before. That's difficult to handcuff somebody in like 10 seconds. Um, so we worked that out and hashed it where I would just put her around one wrist and she would grab the other cuff. So she would, and she was brilliant playing that up. Like it looked very, very good. Just those types of things. Just the stuff you do to make it look good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like really fascinating because I mean, obviously, when you're watching an episode, it just everything happens at a certain pace. It's just interesting to get the behind the scenes, like that you do one one of the handcuffs and Deborah is doing the other,
She just
but
grabs the other one. Yeah.
you don't see it because of the camera angles.
Yep. Absolutely. And it doesn't need to be seen. So it's it was great. It was great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What were the biggest challenges you faced working on Daredevil?
Uh, the commute to Greenpoint, Brooklyn to get there, it was a little bit of a haul. Um, so I don't know, the hotel that we were in was a soundstage in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and they built this hotel room in the soundstage. And so I mean, it really was just commuting there back and forth, which is a little bit of a haul from where I lived. And outside of that, there really wasn't a lot of challenges. They made it so easy and inviting for the actors to and everybody else just to come and work. It was great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. So, of course, a new Daredevil show, Daredevil Born Again, is coming up with a bunch of the Netflix cast reprising their roles. Are you looking forward to Daredevil Born Again?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to that very much. One of my good friends, Sabrina Guevara, is in that. She got a role in that, so I'm looking forward to watching her and seeing what character. I know Riviera, I think is her character's last name, and I'm sure it's a new character, so I'm not sure exactly what her arc will be and everything, but I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing, Charlie Cox is perfect for Daredevil. I'm looking forward to seeing them all reprise their roles and see where they take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Vincent D'Onofrio and Deborah Ann Waller, who you also worked with,
Yeah,
they they'll be back as well. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, brilliant. So outside of Daredevil, you've also acted in a bunch of other great projects like the Barre, Splinter Cell, Extinction, Bushwick, Checkmate, among others. Which have been your favorite productions you've worked on in your career so far?
Three stand out. Splinter Cell, which is based on a video game, the Splinter Cell video game. I worked on that, geez, 10 years ago, and that was a really fun set. And a lot of the guys that I worked with on that set, the directors and the writers and a couple of the other actors, I'm still very, very close with. We're good friends. Um, uh, and actually, what I did for her, which I wrote and produced, I hired their production company to come and film that for us. Um, and then Checkmate was fun because that was shot in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was fun to run around Pittsburgh for 21 days.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. So outside of acting, you've also done behind the scenes filmmaking work, including as a writer and producer. What inspired you to want to get into filmmaking as well?
Well, like I said, I'm the guy who will stand by on set and watch everything that's happening, and you get a taste for it, and you want to kind of do it for yourself. That's why I wrote my film for her and wanted to produce it and I've worked as crew on other sets and stuff like that. I just like being in the environment. It's good for me. It's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. So, which would you say has been the most challenging role in your career so far? Can be for acting, filmmaking, etc.
Uh, I did a film called For Our Sins, which was I played a soldier, an American soldier who was kidnapped in Africa and tortured. That was pretty challenging. Um, that was a fun role. That premiered at cons. Um, and I think for her, which I wrote and produced and raised money for it, and that was a project that was a lot of fun, but it took a lot of work to produce and be the lead actor in a film and did all the casting and hiring the crew and everything. So that was challenging, but it was completely rewarding and fun.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So what was that like overall, getting to develop your own film? I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant, of course, but what was that overall experience like?
It was really good. It was a collaborative project with the production company I hired. They're called Companion Pictures. Um, Still very close with those guys, and I brought them the script. They were like, it needs work. So I had a friend out in LA who's a screenwriter, so I had her do a treatment to it, and we just it was just a kind of an easy collaboration. There was no, in this type of work, when it comes to this, you just have to be open to ideas and learn, and everybody has the same goal, is to make it as best as it possibly can be. So it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. And so my final question for you, Matthew, do you have any upcoming acting roles, filmmaking projects, or any other projects you would like to talk about?
I do. I have a feature coming up called Tribulations. Funny enough, it's another film where I'm kidnapped and strapped to a chair and tortured for a while. Um, and I won't give too much away, but we'll probably start shooting sometime later this month, actually. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, brilliant. That's very nice. Hopefully, your character won't be beaten to death with a jacket over their head again.
No, I believe he does meet his demise, but I won't give it away.
Yeah, okay. Not death via jacket then.
No, not that via jacket. Definitely not that.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. That's all of my question to you today, Matthew. It's been a pleasure talking to you on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and hopefully we can talk again sometime.
I would like that. Yes, thank you.
Brilliant. I'll look forward to talking to you again sometime, Matthew. Thanks again for joining us today. Take care. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.